You want me to put that on my Tudor?
This one's wife. Where are they now? Hello, I'm HG Tudor. People are appliances to us. You are there simply to cater to one or more of the prime aims. You must be controlled through one of the three assertions of control, direct, indirect, or through withdrawal. We may take fuel from you. Want to understand more about that? Read my brilliant book, Fuel. You'll learn what is the lifeblood of the narcissist. We may also require character traits from you. Watch my video, Character Trait Acquisition. And we require residual benefits, which is essentially a catch-all for things such as money, getting a lift off you, somewhere to live, sex. Lots of different things fall within residual benefits. We have what's called a fuel matrix, or in a way, you might also call it a prime's aims matrix. And within that, there are a variety of different people who have different positions in the hierarchy. All of this is explained in my book, Fuel, whereby certain individuals are more important than others to us and therefore have a higher position in the hierarchy, which impacts upon the provision of their fuel to us. Fuel matrices are not static items. They change. They change as a consequence of sometimes the appliance escapes us and has nothing more to do with us. That is unusual, but it does happen. More commonly, the fuel matrix alters because we will disengage from people. It's usually the intimate partner primary source that is disengaged from. Secondary sources and tertiary sources, but usually secondary sources, are dealt with through the shelving dynamic. Namely, we may not bother with you for days, weeks, even years, and then we take you off the shelf, interact with you, pop you back on the shelf, take you off the shelf. And it might be we take you off the shelf for a few hours, a half-hour telephone conversation, a week away. It varies. The people that are in the fuel matrix are there simply to cater to the prime aims. We're not actually truly friends with people or truly care about our family, although, of course, the narcissist will create the image of that being the case. We're not really in love with you. The narcissism causes us to believe that that's the case, so that we give the appearance of love to you, making you easier to control, and thus you'll pour with fuel for us. When you first involve yourself with a narcissist, or perhaps more accurately, the narcissist has turned their attention to you, you go into the fuel matrix. Accordingly, I enter a shop, a lady smiles at me. She's now in my fuel matrix. She's a tertiary source, we don't know one another, I may never see her again, but she's already now in the fuel matrix. I receive some fuel from her. I approach a member of staff to ask about finding a particular product. That person interacts with me. We don't know one another, but they're in my fuel matrix now. They're a tertiary source. I was polite to them as a means to draw them under my control and for them to give me fuel by way of their response and to provide me with a residual benefit, knowledge as to where the appropriate product is. Whilst there, I bump into a friend, a non-intimate secondary source, and we stand and talk a while. They demonstrate they're under control by asking me about something that I've done recently. I control them by taking an interest, albeit purely for my own purposes, in somewhere they've been on holiday. They provide me with fuel. We resolve that we will meet up at a later juncture. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. It's certainly not cast in stone because of the narcissist conditional asterisks. I then receive a call. It comes in from my girlfriend, the intimate partner primary source. I speak to her. She gives me fuel. She demonstrates she's under control. The call then ends. Those people all remain within my fuel matrix, but I'm not necessarily dealing with them all at once. Famous people have millions of people in their fuel matrices. That's the case with this one's wife. She has millions of tertiary sources, the viewers, the readers, the members of the Sussex squad, all individuals, but she doesn't necessarily interact with any of them, save that she may receive messages from them, see comments received from them, and have the knowledge about what those tertiary sources may say. Where she attends an event and she's applauded, she receives fuel from all of those tertiary sources. When she deals with a member of staff that is known to her, that's a non-intimate secondary source. Harry's the intimate partner primary source. Thus, she has an extensive fuel matrix. And if you'd like to understand more about how the fuel matrix is constituted, then you can go to the Knowledge Vault and obtain understanding the fuel matrix, and also understanding changes to the fuel matrix, which you'll find fascinating as to how the narcissist deals with interruptions within that fuel matrix and why they shift people in and out. And it's there that we come to how it enables you to understand why this one's wife treats people as the way that she does. I was prompted by a post that appeared on Saint This One's Wife, their user full name, as you know, I don't, on a subreddit. And somebody with the title Mickleborough has compiled a short post which is headed, "The Wedding Reception Guests, Where Are They in This One's Wife's Life Now?" And thus they list a number of the celebrity guests and have done a bit of research as to suggest where are they now. And I'm going to go through that list because it's a useful opportunity for you to understand what happens to those people in her fuel matrix. So the first person that's listed is Priyanka Chopra. And the author of the post states, "No known recent contact with this one's wife, reduced to making faces at the Prince and Princess of Wales at Wimbledon." Now, Priyanka Chopra, non-intimate secondary source, member of the coterie, placed on the shelf, possibly disengaged from, or she's just sat on the shelf awaiting the time that this one's wife may well hoover her and take her off. Why is she not interacting with her? Well, because this one's wife has no emotional empathy for her supposed friends. She has no sense of obligation towards them. She doesn't care about them. There are washing machines, televisions, toasters that are there to be used. Do you care about your toaster? You don't. All that matters is that it toasts the bread. There we are. That's it. It's not your friend. If you talk to it, I'd suggest that you need some medical intervention, but ordinarily you wouldn't do that. Your toaster is there to serve a purpose, just like a friend is there to serve a purpose for the narcissist. And sometimes the narcissist requires you to function, other times we have no need of you. George Clooney's mentioned. He was a tertiary source. Of course, this one's wife was looking to commandeer character traits from him and triangulate him with the wider viewership to say, "Look at me, I've got famous friends." Apparently, according to the author, there was no known contact with the Sussexes since wife Amal appeared at this one's wife's over-the-top baby shower in New York. Hosts an annual glamorous fundraiser which to date studiously has excluded the Sussexes. It would appear that Mr. Clooney has sought to escape the fuel matrix and have nothing to do with this one's wife. James Corden, arsehole, seems to be supportive of Harry. He has, of course, unfortunately moved back to the United Kingdom. Therefore, he's not really going to enter the fuel matrix of this one's wife particularly often, but he's still viewed as supportive and would be seen as remaining on the shelf as a non-intimate secondary source. Idris Elba, no known contact with the Sussexes. You'll remember that he was there DJing at the wedding and tertiary source. He was invited, and then there's been nothing more. There was an attempt to character trait acquire from him, and he's undoubtedly kept his distance. Nacho Figueras, Team Harry, last seen with him at the Centre Bali charity polo match in Singapore in August 2023. But he will also remain within the fuel matrix of this one's wife as a non-intimate secondary source. Although who knows, she may have been batting her eyelashes at him, trying to move him into an intimate partner status. Tom Hardy, tertiary source, no known contact with the Sussexes, possibly escaped. Elton John. He, of course, was the subject of a message from the Sussexes, therefore was subjected to a hoover. Jessica Mulrooney. She appears to have been disengaged from, a non-intimate secondary source that hasn't just been shelved, but has been disengaged by this one's wife as a consequence of her having no further need of her. Harry Styles apparently was rumoured to have been present, but again, there's no known contact between him and the Sussexes. Another tertiary source that was simply invited for character trait acquisition and has no actual meaningful relationship with this one's wife. Serena Williams has shown occasional support of this one's wife, and therefore has had some form of interaction, albeit didn't invite her to a recent baby shower, which suggests that either she has been shelved and has responded in kind, or she has sought to escape from the fuel matrix. But the point is, this short list that has been compiled by Mickleborough demonstrates that the majority of the people on it have nothing currently to do with the Sussexes. And that underpins the fact that there was no actual relationship between them and this one's wife, that they were only invited because of what they could do for her, namely, make her look good with having supposed celebrity friends. Although, of course, it backfired, as it invariably does with this one's wife, as people looked at it and thought, she doesn't know them. And of course, George Clooney confirmed that by saying, no, we're not really sure why we're here. Thus, her attempt to make it look like she was well-liked and that she was hobnobbing with all of these famous people backfired because so many people looked at it and thought, she's not pals with them. And it just demonstrated not only the desperate nature of her behaviour, but also emphasised the manner by which her narcissism functions. That it's not interested in a proper relationship with them, it's only interested in what they can do for her. And that was to make her look good by virtue of her celebrity friends. The majority of them have nothing to do with her, either having been disengaged from by her or having escaped the fuel matrix by keeping their distance from her. There were others, of course, in that list, and perhaps in the comment section you will offer your suggestions as to who else was invited but didn't bother with them thereafter or have been left behind. Another poster, More Recognition 4104, points out that Katy Perry supposedly, her child had play dates with Lilibet and Archie, but again sought to escape the fuel matrix by choosing the royal family to stay at Windsor Castle and perform at King Charles III's coronation. Amal Clooney attended the baby shower, but then attended the Prince's Trust Award in 2023. Idris Elba, he's been at the Prince's Trust Gala in 2023. David and Victoria Beckham apparently were non-intimate secondary source friends with this one's wife. But of course, we've seen the recent fallout and they've been disengaged from, and therefore more guests that have been left behind by her because she just uses people. So a useful explanation as to where these people are now in relation to her, and to get you to understand that she uses these people with reference to the prime aims in the way that somebody would use a toaster or a washing machine. And that with some of them, they realise there's no connection between me and her, and therefore I'm not going to bother continuing to have a relationship. In other instances, she has dispensed with the individuals, they've served their purpose, and she moves on. And you know why she does that. It's because it's all governed by her narcissism. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.